Leo?
Hello.
Hey, oh, you're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Martin. We spoke a few weeks ago when Dr. Darrell Ray was there.
Oh, right. Do I? Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. I wanted to talk, bring it back to what you were discussing at the beginning of the show. You were talking a bit about the lecture on Intelligence Squared with Stephen Fry and Christopher Hitchens.
Yes.
And Anne Whitcomb, and you couldn't remember their names.
Yes, thank you.
No problem, because Stephen Fry is quite a big, iconic character in the UK.
I love Stephen Fry. He's fantastic.
Yes. And Anne Whitcomb, apart from having a terrible shrill voice, I don't know if you know this about her, but she used to belong to the Anglican Church.
I did not know.
And then when the Anglican Church decided they would allow women to become priests in the Anglican Church, that's when she chose to move to the Catholic Church, because she said that the women could not divinely ordain or represent Jesus as ministers, whatever.
Self-hating, misogynistic woman.
Yeah, okay. So that was a bit about that. But there was a few things actually I wanted to talk about. The thing you were talking about, the Pope. First of all,
yeah, it's a little mean to the Pope.
What's happening in Ireland, I don't know how many people are, I'm sure people are aware, it's quite big news, but the current cardinal, who is now the head of the church in Ireland, and apparently when he was younger, he was the secretary who went around taking statements from people and making them sign affidavits of silence, to refuse, to not speak of it. At all. And then when it came out recently, and now he was taken to court on that, and he was asked to resign, he said he doesn't think this is a resigning offense. So that was one big issue that's been happening with him. What's even worse was the Pope now, who was in 2001, he was cardinal, and I want to get his title correct, and Christopher Hitchens mentioned this as well in one of the, I think it was The Independent, but it was one of the main newspapers in the UK was talking about this as well. He was prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. And at that time, it's basically like their Inquisition, if you will, but at the time he wrote a letter which was then secret, but actually came out. I've looked for the actual letter, I couldn't find it, but Hitchens apparently quoted it, and so did the newspaper, stating that he threatened all the bishops of the time to not talk about it by threat of excommunication, to only deal with it internally.
Yeah, you know, I mean, see what I keep saying about crime syndicate? I mean, they behave this way. It's the Corleones, the Sopranos. I mean, where's the difference between, how they handle their little issues? So, about this whole, the thing with the kids here, we ain't got to talk to you about that. So, it's...
Yeah. There was another... there was another thing which is a bit more personal. This isn't directly to me, but it's my partner's family. And they were in Austria. There were another case where pretty much all of her brothers were abused by the bishop, by the priest at the time.
So you have, you know people within your family.
Yeah, I know the people. Yeah, it's my partners. They're good friends of mine as well. I know them all. They're like brothers-in-law, if you will. They're kind of. I know them directly. There's a few of them. They know of more people. I don't know everyone there, but they estimated that about at least 30 people were molested by this one priest. And when the parents tried to raise it with the bishop, first of all, the community so didn't believe it that they actually blamed them, the parents, for it and excommunicated them across the street to avoid them, because they were making stories about the priest. And why would they raise up such horrible things, and why would they do these things? This is like excommunication from the community
So the attitude was, well, you can't prove that we did this, so we're going to publicly smear you as liars and excommunicate you, and it all just
ostracizing them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Even I think it was, I don't know how many years later, when finally they got something done. I mean, this was a big process. So first they shifted the priest, then the police came to investigate, but after interviewing like 2-3 people, they said that it was all the people they had interviewed. They couldn't do anything because of the expiry, the law, the
statute of limitations. We have that here.
Thank you. Yes, thanks. And which is in and of itself quite horrific. But the thing is that there may have been other cases which hadn't passed the statute of limitations, but the police refused to investigate further. Now, I'm not sure if this is because the police may have a law that says that if they suspect it had passed the statute of limitations, they're not allowed to actually investigate further. In Ireland, this was even worse, because in Ireland, the police just refused to report it. In some cases, they just took all the files and took it directly to the bishop and just gave it to them and said, look, what do you want to deal with it? And they just refused to investigate the issues. And the police was actually held to part of the blame as well. So it is really systemic in how this belief system is so... It's so much wider than just saying a few people, because it gets to the state protecting you, the mechanism that's protecting you is failing.
Yeah, you end up at the point where you start asking how deep does the corruption go, and the only answer is how big is your shovel, right? I mean, it's just that horrible, and it's that entrenched. At least this is starting to come out, right? And so...
Yes.
But I understand...
Sorry.
I was just going to say, we have seen that trend as well. I mean, I've seen that in the media where I've sat and wondered, these are crimes. I don't care who you work with or what organization you're affiliated with. The cops don't need to be coming to your place of work and saying, would you like to handle this internally? I mean, this is a violent crime. Yeah. And you don't ask the organization itself whether or not it wants you to come in and investigate. You do your job. It doesn't matter who this is. You come in, you do the investigation, and if somebody's committed a crime, you arrest them. You don't move them to another parish and say, well, we'll just let you all handle that. How about that?
It all ties into this undeserved respect that religion just automatically gets for being religion, right? I mean, imagine if the Securities Exchange Commission went to Bernie Madoff, right, and said, we've got all this evidence of this massive multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme that you've been doing for 40 years. Here's everything we got. You want to just take care of this? Oh, sure.
Well, I mean, I do understand.
I'll take care of all of that.
I do understand that associations within, within any association, you're going to have things, skirmishes, whatever, that are going to be internally handled with internal rules and internal doctrines. But at the same time, when you cross that line where you have committed a crime, a criminal act or a civil violation, that's when it now is no longer in the purview of just your little group. It now is a social concern, and the police or the civil authority now has a right to be involved in that and an obligation to be involved in that.
I think, Tracy, I think it's actually bigger than that. I think that just by a quick Google, the number of countries that have been affected, and I counted Austria, France, in Germany, Czech Republic, in fact, Belgium, Australia, New Zealand. The number of countries is just staggering. That's just not less than half the countries, and in each case, the numbers are just coming up and up. And I'm thinking, just on this issue alone, let alone the condoms issue, but just on this issue alone, do we not have enough to get The Hague involved and bring up the Pope for crimes against humanity? Just on this alone.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
Intervene on an international level.
There's already a lot of noise in the media about the Pope needs to resign because of this. It's obviously because of based on his attitude in his quote today, he doesn't seem to think that's necessary. That may be a necessary step. I think that's maybe good to get the dialogue going on that. I don't know if under the Hague's rules that that would have to maybe be investigated. But heck, I'd sure love to see it. Because you're right, it's beyond serious. We thank you for the call and for all the information, but we're down to like 5 minutes. We want to go ahead and get to our last 2 callers before we sign off. So, stay in touch with us through email and the rest of it. And thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for calling.